Welcome to the Learning About Dogs podcast with Kay Lawrence and Frances McCormack, and introducing her new collie puppy, Nika. This series is going to be focusing on all those questions that arise when you try and survive that first year with a new puppy. And welcome back to our talk about living with puppies, learning about puppies, because they always have a lot to teach us. And I'd like to welcome Frances with her middle-aged pup, I would think I would call it. Not the baby pup anymore, but she's definitely heading towards learning that she might get bigger than she thought she would as a baby puppy. And that takes a bit of learning. So, we'll talk about that age 4 to 5, 6 months old, when there's an awful lot of physiological changes. It's the sort of age where they would start to go out and about with the parent dogs. They might be on the travel a bit more. They want to go out and about. They want to see what's beyond over there, where they're probably going to get into more trouble than they ever should. So how's it going at the moment? What's she teaching you?
Oh, she's teaching me so much. She's teaching me about her learning constantly. It's wonderful to see some of the changes in what she likes to play with and how she likes to play with them. Her understanding of things that we have set up inadvertently or not. Her learning appetite is still huge, so she's still a really voracious learner and really eager for that. But she's also teaching us about how we're perhaps consistent or not so consistent with her. So for instance, one of the things she likes to do is leap up at the door handle when the door is being opened. But if it's me going towards the door, she'll do a very small hop and then very quickly wait for the stillness, because I've been practicing that with her, the stillness before opening the door. So just to see those little bits of understanding of what in her world is relevant to her and who it's relevant with, I think is a really interesting thing.
And I think at this age they're learning a lot of sequences of stimulus. So yes. You walk to the door. Do you open it with your left hand or your right hand?
Right.
Okay, so she knows that you're going to stand a certain way, which means you're going to open the door. I would do things like I would stroke the door handle a lot, and I might inspect the woodwork quite a bit, and I might go to and fro the door for no particular purpose, because this is the age where she's going to start to memorize chains of behaviors that you do and the outcomes that are relevant to her. Yep. So I wouldn't say fake it, but certainly touch a door handle and then maybe blow your nose, or touch the door handle and then not open it. Yep. So it doesn't become a straight on that approach, the raising of the hand, bang, 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 because it can escalate extremely quickly, and then it's so hard to undo it. Oh, you might stroke the door, you might clean the glass, you might look at it, you might fiddle with the lock. You're not quite sure. You're just going to be a dozy person that doesn't know what they're going to do.
That sounds like most of my week, Kay.
But what you're not going to do is, open the door because you're jumping at it. Jump, 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 faster, faster, faster. No, I think I'll just mess with the foot, the paintwork here for a bit, and people.
It's interesting you say that, actually, because I've been putting her collar on quite a bit throughout the day, and every time she sits for her collar, and not because I've asked her to, it's just what she does, and her little feet are tapping with excitement, and her whole body's wiggling, and she's so excited to have this collar on. And she'd started heading towards the front door initially, but has changed that now. So the collar goes on. She still does the happy little feet. She might go into the living room and jump up on the sofa, because one of the things I've been doing is the finger under the collar and stroking and all kinds of different things once the collar goes on. Sometimes just put it on and go away and do Frances stuff. And it's interesting to see how she is predicting those patterns, as you say.
Yes. I think, this is the age where we can see them starting to become aroused by the events that they're particularly interested in. And that's probably all the things that you don't want them to become aroused about. like going for a
Right.
walk, smashing the door, dinner's coming, leaping up and down, people are coming, somebody's cutting the grass, the bin men are going around the back. All these patterns of things in their lives, they're learning, oh, I know that, I remember that, that follows that, and blah, there we go and do that. So it's this is the time to be really sharp, that you don't build up routines that you don't want to live with when they're fully grown. Keep it
And
variable.
what's the purpose of that, Kay, in a dog's life? As you say, they're going out and about more with their parents. What function does that new kind of behavior or that new understanding of the world serve?
Well, that's just learning. That's just the age they are, that they want to learn these patterns end up in that sort of success.
Hmm.
Yes, when we start to waken up and start sniffing around, that will end up in learning our hunting skills, how we do it, what is likely to work, what is not likely to work, ways of doing it. So it's all full of all their skills that they're developing, their social skills, movement skills, everything that's starting to feel so good to learn. And learning itself, it just gives them a major, major buzz. So, oh yeah, teach me that. Show me how to do that. It's like possibly a 7-year-old child that wants to go into the workshop where, dad is, busy chopping stuff with sharp knives. Oh, can you show me how to do that? No, you're 7. Oh, okay. So then they'll go back in the kitchen with grandma that's baking. Oh, can I have a go at that? And they just want to try and learn everything, because they don't know
Yes.
what's going to be useful, what's not. Their minds are like, that looks good, I'll learn that. Yep. So,
Mm.
but the only thing is, I don't think they're particularly good at what I call cognitive, not conundrums, but working out puzzles. So things like putting behaviours on cues. So say we've taught something like, stand still for your collar, and you want to call it collar. Yes. I don't know what that means. So I do find this age, they're not particularly good at learning something like verbal cues. So we might have taught something with an object, or go to your crate, because we're walking towards it, or do you want to go outside because we're walking towards it. But then when you give it the verbal cue without the backing stimulus, they're like, oh, I don't get that. So I've often left verbal cues till about 8 or 9 months old, and then they really come in quite fast at that age, whether it's just auditory development or whether they don't connect what they hear so much to what they're doing. But those sort of cognitive puzzles, just one step too much. Just one step too much.
Well,
Yes.
that's a relief to hear because I'd noticed that with her.
Oh.
And I thought, better take a step back and assess what I'm doing. But it's really good to know that it's not just me
Yes.
in a
Yes.
way.
Yes.
Whereas with the cup on a stick yesterday, I thought we'll do some backing. Immediately, she understood,
Oh,
she
brilliant.
showed understanding of what I was trying to do, and yeah, that's it, let's do this, let's go, and it's great fun. But verbal cues at the moment, no. Although
No.
she does understand. So it's an interesting one because she does understand words that perhaps because we've already been using them, words that predict certain rewards for her. So she knows what
Yes.
sprinkles mean.
But that's
But
that's not the
trying,
same. In the words, you've done like a passive association with those
yes,
cues, follow something. That's not quite the same as learning to lie down on a hand signal or follow a cup going around a curve. And you now want to say, the cup's no longer going to be there. You're going to now do it on a verbal cue.
wow,
And it's sort of, having taught a lot of dogs the transition between physical object stimulus and then wanting it to be without the objects, go to verbal cues, it's not a good age for it. I just found there that none of them have they've stood there like, I don't understand this, and you actually then question your own, oh, I'm doing it the right way, is this normal?
yes,
But it's a skill that I think develops at a certain age, and I don't think this is it.
okay,
So whether there's
that
some
is a relief.
neuroscientific correlation of what's happening in their brains at this time. But, their brains are having to cope with so many things that I don't think we need to add our agenda to this too much. I remember when the big male Gordon Kent was about 17 weeks, and I used to do the measuring their growth rate with a little pencil mark on the door thing, and he grew an inch in a week. So in other words, he was whatever height at 17 weeks, then 18 weeks, he was an inch taller. Now, from a sort of physiological point of view, that's an awful lot of bone had to be grown, which means an awful lot of food had to go in. He couldn't eat fast enough, he couldn't eat enough, he was permanently hungry. And then the minute he had eaten, he needed to sleep. And when he slept, woe betide you if he couldn't wake him up. It was like wherever he plonked for the end of the day, 5 o'clock, we're done. It was like, oh God, he's sitting in my chair, because I wasn't going to get him out. You'd have to slide him off the chair, and he'd end up sort of like liquid puppy, and he'll just go back straight to sleep again wherever he was. It was just phenomenal, the amount of sleep and the depth of the sleep that he would give, which I suppose is the the brain doing all their sort of filing system, and this was that, and that was, and the body doing all that busy stuff, because there's growing so fast at this period.
Wow. And that must be difficult for them to understand. Their world must change, do you think, as a result of them changing physically?
Oh,
Their
yes,
environment must seem
yes.
different to them.
Well, yes, because what they could do last month, they now can't get under the coffee table. They can't squeeze through that gap. They have to lower their head more. Yeah. So, the physiological changes mean that the world's got smaller. So they have to change their perceptive skills of where everything is relative to them. I mean, I have a puppy bed that's probably the size of a casserole dish, a nice large casserole dish. Todd still likes to sleep in that at 2 years old. And you can see him overspill it, but it's his bed. He likes it.
Oh.
And he wants to get back in it. The smaller zip, because she's female, she can curl up in it tighter. But he was sleeping in it this morning. I said, you silly bucket. It's just like... So the things that they used to do and be able to do, now their bodies often can't because they're too big. This is the age where their feet at about 20 weeks are full grown. So the feet are adult size, but they've got no coordination. And when you hear them, if you've got a sort of a floor that's, you can hear their feet moving on it, it sounds like they're beating a drum, as opposed to a dog like walking down the corridor. Now you've got... Yeah, because you can feel these big feet are going up and down like they're beating a drum, because the muscle structure is not there to be able to plant a foot. The leg does the stuff, but that freaking great foot on the end just goes up in the air and comes down again. Bang, 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 bang. And I think we were videoing some cup on a stick stuff with Todd at about 5 months old. I thought, oh, I can hear his feet. I can hear his feet going on. So those sort of physical strengths are not there. The coordination's not there. What they used to be able to do, they can't. And that needs to be on our agenda for learning, is learning how to do the things that they've already learnt how to do, but adapting them for this bigger body.
Right.
So maybe they could easily sit at 9, 10, 11 weeks old. Yeah, plonk your ass, get it on the floor, got it. Now, 17 weeks old, oh, that's difficult. No, it doesn't do it that way anymore. It sort of folds and collapses, and no, it doesn't do that. So just going through the physical moves that they could do and trying not to lose them is quite enough for, focused learning. Yeah, I'm not trying to do too much there. Teeth are changing.
And
definitely.
Yes, yeah. And I think there's an element, sorry to just go back to the physical changes in the world getting smaller. There's an element of, this used to be my favourite place to sleep, and now I can't fit in there anymore. Tiernan used to love to sleep under the coffee table, and it was one of those coffee tables with a shelf underneath, and when he was a puppy he'd fit in there perfectly fine.
Yes.
But as an adult he couldn't, as he grew, he couldn't get under there anymore, and I felt so sorry for him.
Yes.
The first time he tried and couldn't manage it.
And we get the puppy crate out for the new puppy, and the adult tries to get back in there again, going, oh, I used to love living in there, I can't get there anymore. Oh yes, there's things change. It's, I don't remember it myself, but certainly things change for us a little slower, but for them this is a fast growing age, and it takes a lot of adjustment, so they have a license to be excused for appearing to be not very bright, because life's hard to try and adjust. So teeth are changing, so you'll often see under their eyes they look like they've got bags, and it's where the larger teeth are going to be slightly swollen, so it looks like she should have not quite circles under her eyes, but some of them definitely get there. You look at their eyes and you think, oof, that looks a bit sore there. And then all the muscle structure of the face will affect the ears. If they're going to be not spaniel ears, that if they're going to be standing up or changing shape, you'll often see German Shepherd puppies that have, they're going to grow up and have prick ears. At this age, they fold over in the middle because they're starting to stand up, but the skull has not widened enough to give the base for them to actually be balanced in the right positions. So they'll flop around all over the place. They will definitely flop
Oh
around
yeah,
all
she
over
was
the place.
cross-eared last week. The inner ears were facing each other
Oh,
and
yes.
slightly flopped over. It's day to day, there's changes there.
Oh, bless her.
Yeah.
And the coat, her what she arrived with was basically puppy fur, was undercoat. So they've got the benefit of the warmth of the undercoat, the fluffiness of them, and then the guard hairs will start to come through, and they usually arrive from the base of the tail upwards. So you see this little triangle just on about an inch down from the base of the tail on the tail, and that's what their adult coat is going to look like. And then you'll see it starts like a stripe going up the spine, and you'll see the guard hairs start to come through, which means it flattens and takes down the puppy fur underneath. Yeah, so that's all changing. That's all got to be grown.
Yes,
That's
she's
all.
started that already. Little curls around the base of her tail there, and her bloomers are coming in, and I think they're going to be long. She's also got she's got a kind of a tufty tummy, so now the fur on her belly is coming down in tufts.
Lovely.
So we've been getting used to the brush.
Yes, yes.
We've been learning that the brush is something pleasurable, thankfully.
Well, I think we'll make that. Yes, let's do that on the next podcast. Is all the handling stuff that we should be doing at this age, particularly at this age, because their body's changing. We need to get our hands on, get them familiar with it. We also need to be familiar with what's changing and how it's changing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think also because of I'm going to call it monumental differences that they're having to adjust to. Every time they wake up is a new day and it's different and they've grown again. Oh my goodness. I would not look for too many stimulus to have to assimilate through this period. I think we can easily overface them and expect them to learn too much too soon and have too many things going on. And this is often where, I know they like to talk about fear periods. I don't think it's a fear period. I think it's just a straight overwhelming of too many new things. That 16-week-old puppy 30, 40 years ago was when we used to start to take them out because the vaccination wasn't complete until 16 weeks, particularly when Parvo first reared its head. So now we've got this pup that's having to adjust to all this stuff that they're growing. And do we want them to walk in a straight line on a lead down the street next to the lorry and that man standing in the middle of the road holding what looks like a lollipop? Just like, it's far too much too soon. Yeah, we want to get them out in the world, make sure they see this, that, and the other. And I think we can easily fall into the trap of having them overstimulated.
Right.
And they get
So
tired.
what might a day or a week of learning then look like for a puppy at that age?
Well, I think just making sure that I would probably do outings maybe twice a week, maximum. Not every day. They haven't got to go everywhere. Or they might just go on car rides but not get out at the end of the day. And maybe once or twice a week they would go to something that's a brand new event, like a class or the local garden fete or, just something that they've never seen before. But, being introduced in such a way that they don't have to dive in at any deep ends. No deep ends. They just don't need it at this age. They've got so much to cope with just around the house.
Yes.
So it's learning how to the same routines, but they feel different because they are different. They're not the same guy that they used to be. And this is the sort of
interesting.
This is the age where you're probably starting to think we might fall out over this. Starting to go, oh, I don't want to come in yet. Yes, but it's raining and it's 11 o'clock at night. Yes, but I like sitting out here. There's things in the garden I want to watch. Or they're coming in with something Um, Mabel used to like to bring in great tufts of earth. I don't know where she was getting them from, but she'd have a mouthful of grass and earth and want to share it with me. Hey, shall we do a swap for a sausage? And I'm like, what the hell have you got? And it would be dripping mud all over the place. I was like, okay, let's go and get a sausage, but let's take it outside. Bonk, and that would be down the floor. So, there's a lot of sort of, you're starting to get the hint of what the next phase is going to be like. And there might be a few, no, I don't want to do that anymore. In a way, they want to still be cuddled, but in a way, they don't. They want to be the adult soon. But, 10 minutes later, oh, can I be the puppy and you give me a cuddle again?
Oh, I'll miss those puppy cuddles. But I suppose it's important at this stage then to be prepared for those events like I don't want to come in from the garden, and to have management in place, I suppose, to protect the dog as they're starting to explore more, and I suppose not having the safety skills to understand the consequences.
Oh, no, I think
That
this is the age you
exploration.
just have another book to read. So in other words, oh no, I like to stay in the garden. I'm not going to come in here. Okay, I'm going to shut the back door. See you later. And you go and read a book for 10 minutes. And then you say, are you ready to come in yet? Yes, I think so. It's cold out here. Yep, thank you very much. So this is not the age to look for arguments or try and make them. It's the age to go and sit down and read your book.
Okay. Any excuse.
Oh yes. Or have something else to be
good.
busy with and go, sure, yeah, you can stay out there. Okay, fine. Because, in a way it's like, part of them wants to find out what it's like to be on my own. No, I want to go and explore down here. And part of it will then be, but I don't want to be left out. I want you to come with me. Yes, and explore. And you to be my safety net, but I still want to explore and know that you're there. Well, then we've got to be a little bit careful about what we endorse in the way of let me go and explore, which is where a lot of the pulling on a lead will actually start, because they want to go down here, then we'll go and have a look at that, and you go, oh, okay, let's go and have a look at that, and you end up following the dog or following their inquisitiveness to the point where they are really just going wild to have a look at this. It's like taking a teenager shopping with a gold credit card, or you with a gold credit card, and they can buy anything they want.
Yes.
Every single shop will have to be gone into and looked at and checked. I'll have this, and this, and this. And this is where we have to go. Yeah, that's enough. Let's go home. Nope, you can't have that.
Right.
But pick your arguments.
And plenty of empathy for them too, it sounds.
Yes, yeah, I think that's the key. None of us likes being 15 years old. 14, 15 years old. Ghastly. And I remember dear, TODD, is just by the side of me here. He could pee for England at 5 months old. I've never seen anything like it. You'd go 4 times in 1 hour. Again? Oh, too late. No, we went backwards rather than come forwards. And this was now going into November, December, so it wasn't a question of having the door open and him helping himself to the garden. Bad time of year to come in with a summer-born puppy that now needs to pee for England, because it's just the way his physiology is working. Because as an adult, 2 years old, he can go 12 hours without. I said, don't you want to go and have a pee? No, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm all right. He says, And he'll go out and he'll have a look around. He doesn't even pee, comes back in again. I go, wow. Considering what he was like at about 20 weeks, I certainly had to throw that rug away. There was no two ways about it, because it was on the way to the door and he very often didn't make it, and you can only, yes, that needs to go. But, and they can also start getting a bit smelly at this age, especially the boys. They can start to smell a bit, not so much like puppies. Yes. So it's joys coming in, but...
yes. So much to look forward to over the next few weeks.
But yeah, lots of empathy, and don't expect too much, and don't push them to learn too much. They've got enough on their dinner plate as it is. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so we will have a look at some other things we could be doing in this period in our next podcast. Thank you very much again. That was interesting, and I am so not envious of you at all anymore.
Thanks so much for your support and help as always, Kay.
Thank you for listening. We shall be following Nika's first year through the podcasts. If you would like to learn more, please have a wander around our website, learningaboutdogs.com. We have many articles and lots of courses that you can explore. We also have Facebook pages, which is Kay Lawrence and Learning About Dogs. So if you have any questions on first year topics or anything else you'd like us to focus on, please use the Facebook pages and ask. See you next time.